I have personally generated over $200 million from email marketing in the last 8 years. And at Mailzy, we manage over 100 different campaigns every single week that get deployed, which means we have to be at the forefront of all of the email marketing tricks, tactics, steals, everything to do with email marketing. And with that being said, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build campaigns correctly. Number one, I'm going to show you exactly what ideas actually generate revenue so you don't have to waste time with ones that won't. I'm going to show you everything in between. So by the end of the video, you're going to understand campaign sending as intimately as possible that you won't need to watch another video. So let's get into it. All right, so this is exactly why you should listen to me off the bat. First of all, we've scaled this company progressively from the about 200K per month mark to over $1.5 million in a single month over the last few months. And it hasn't taken a long time to get there. It's taken about 7 months. Now, the only reason for that is majority because of the campaigns. As you can see, the progressive incline from sales due to campaigns. And obviously this is another screenshot of the brand, and I want to show you this specifically because this is just in the last 30 days as of recording this. Today is the 25th of February, and I just wanted to take the most recent screenshot instead of showing you inflated results. Majority of the strategy is because of campaigns, so this is the only video you're going to need, like I said. Now, starting off, I want to show you visual campaigns versus plain text campaigns and the formula for a successful visual campaign. So obviously, if you know anything about email marketing, you know anything about campaigns, this is going to seem very familiar to you. But these are some of the top brands, and this is what they're sending. So visual campaigns are a little bit of a mixture, and they do follow a very specific formula. So here is one from Heinz, super good. Always follows a very specific formula, which looks like this. It's always the logo on the main image. There's the hero visual, which is either a product photo or something to that degree, and then a CTA in the top fold. This is the most important thing. Only after this section, so the logo, hero visual, CTA, will you have additional text, all right? And from here, you kind of put your additional sections. So let's take a look and put it in practice. If we take Heights, so what they do is they have the logo, they have their main visual with a headline and a CTA. So that's the first 5 seconds of every single visual email. That's essentially the formula you want to hit. You want to make sure there's a hook, the logo doesn't take up too much space, you have a visual, and you have a CTA. Those 4 things in the top 5 seconds of opening up an email. It's the most important thing. Then next up, we obviously have a few things over here. So this is the additional information, the infographic, something to that degree, and then the additional sections underneath. Same thing with Lofty. This is a completely different industry, completely different brand, and exactly the same thing. So they have a logo, doesn't take up too much space. Then they have their CTA, or rather their headline, which is also the hook, and then a CTA, and then additional information. So Breeze, same thing. Logo doesn't take up space. They have their headline or their hook. Then they have the code in the CTA, and then the visual. Super simple, first 5 seconds, you can see every single one hits the same note. Olipop, a little bit the same. They have the CTA, the main visual, the hook. So super simple. That is the formula for a successful visual-based email. The best way to do this, and I've made videos about this as well, which you can go and find on my page, but the best way to do this is either with Figma or Canva. Do the designs there, or you can use the drag and drop elements, which I'm going to run through at the end of this video. Next up, we have plain text emails. Now, so many brands do not incorporate plain text emails into their marketing, and it's costing them a lot of money. This is what plain text emails look like. They're super old school. There's no branding. It doesn't look like it's coming from a company. And these perform incredibly well. These look like they're coming from an actual person at the company. So you can see the way that these have been done. This is Corbin from Breeze. They do this very often, and it performs incredibly well. This is Chris, and it sounds like an actual founder reaching out, and it's just hyperlinking the actual products instead of having buttons and anything like that. It breaks the pattern of consistently seeing high quality visual emails, which all the brands are doing. Instead of that, you're seeing plain text emails that seem personalized and don't seem salesy. Same with Magic Mind. Magic Mind is one of the best brands in the world, and they also do plain text emails. This one's a bit more lengthy. It's a bit more, science-based. You can take whatever approach you want. Here's another one from Graza. Same thing. It's coming from an alias called AB, and they also are just speaking about their latest launch. This is a great way to run sales as well. So what most brands do is they'll send a visual email for the launch, but what they don't do is a follow-up that's plain text from someone on the team that seems personal and it doesn't seem too pushy. So that's what we would recommend. Now, if we take a look at, your actual sending schedule and how that should look, it's super simple. You want to send 3 to 4 times a week minimum. If you don't have the resources to do that, then you're probably watching and at the right place. Go down below and book in a call with us. We're an agency that will do it all for you. But at the minimum, you should be sending 3 to 4 times per week. And this should be a 30 to 40% plain text split, which means that the other, 70 to 60% of your emails should be visual campaigns. And you can see the frequency of send, right? So for some of the top brands, some of them are sending every second day. Take a look at Magic Mind. So they sent on February 17th. Again, 15th, that's a 2-day difference. Again, the 14th, that's a 1-day difference. The 13th, a day difference. 15th or the 12th, a day difference. The 10th, 2-day difference. Then just before that, same kind of thing in January. In fact, they were sending sometimes 2 to 3 times per day, which I wouldn't recommend. They were big brands, so they're obviously doing it very strategically, and I was in their flows as well. But you can see the frequency of send. Same with Breeze. So sometimes they'll send every single day, sometimes it will be 2 days apart, whatever it looks like. This is just your sign that you don't have to be scared of sending. If you want to take a look at another brand, so June 2nd, June 7th, June 8th, June 3rd, so many different days that they're sending and very consistently. That's how your send should look. Do not be afraid of sending too much, but I wouldn't exceed the 3 to 4 and I wouldn't go below the 3 to 4. This is absolutely the sweet spot with this split between plain text and image based. If you take a look at Breeze again, which is one of the top email retention performers in the entire world, actually, you can see how often they're sending plain text emails. All of these from Corbin are plain text emails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then one from Aaron. So you can see just in this gaze, they're actually out sending plain text versus the visual. So I highly recommend this, especially if you're strapped for time and resources. Plain text emails are a great way for low effort campaigns with good copy to actually convert without needing to put the resources into visual campaigns. Now, if we go look at campaign ideas, this is the next part of the puzzle, is understanding what to send, when to send it, and how to send it. So here are some ideas that are non-discount ideas, as well as some sale ideas that we do actually use. I'm going to run through them super quickly, but feel free to pause to see the additional information. So first thing is an FAQ section. You can see some of the brands and how they do them. This is such an underrated campaign to send out when you are taking customer questions and you're posing it as a campaign. This can perform incredibly, incredibly well. Reviews and testimonials, incredible as well. So many brands underestimate the power of showing other people's reviews and testimonials because this is actually what is going to convert a lot of your non-buyers. I highly recommend that. Then product features, this is self-explanatory. You just want to showcase some of your best sellers. This performs really well because you're doing the thinking for the customer. Next up is new arrivals. So many brands have so many new products, and even products that you launched maybe a few months ago that are still somewhat new, that some of your customers are not even aware of. You want to do announcements of those, and here are some examples of how some brands do that. Then before versus after, this is one of the best performers in wellness and skincare specifically. And you can also do a little bit of a category of this even in the fashion industry. If you think about it, you can show someone's style before your clothes and their style after your clothes. So you can use this to however you want, but this is one of the best consistently performing campaigns because people need that push. They need to see that it works for other people to make sure that it works for them. And using real life, real world examples is the best way to get conversions. Next up is recommended products. Again, it's kind of like a product showcase, but you're telling them what you would recommend based on specific archetypes. You can do that very easily. Now, I love this campaign. This is something we do consistently, is myths. So this is where you can easily tackle pain points of your customers very strategically. You can do this as a plain text as well. But the reason this works so well is because so many people have multiple pain points of the reason why they're not buying from you, whether it's pricing, whether it's shipping, whether it is the product not working. So if you're a skincare brand and you're worried about the product not working, maybe you sell lab-grown diamonds and they don't understand that that does qualify and quantify as a high quality diamond. There's so many different myths that you can use that would be really easily addressed as a campaign. Next up is us versus them. Again, very self-explanatory. Sometimes comparing yourself to the industry, showing your pricing, showing your benefits versus other brands is so important. If you're a wellness brand or if you're a nootropic brand, your product versus a product that most people use. Maybe you're a matcha brand. You want to show the benefits of matcha versus regular matcha. Those kind of things can perform really well. Tips and tricks, this is one of my favorites as well. This is just a really good value-based campaign, and as a byproduct of value, people typically purchase. Signups for SMS. This is an incredible way to encourage us a lot more SMS traction. So many people kind of neglect this. They just rely on their sign-up forms, and they are not educating their audience that they do offer other products, other deals, whatever it is, over SMS, and you do want multiple touch points with your audience. Why us? This is a great conversational email as well. This is a great way to showcase your company's unique strengths and build trust and credibility with your audience. Then, of course, bestsellers feature, kind of repetitive to the above. Behind the scenes, this is incredibly slept on. With such noise in the industry and with so many competitors, what really sets people apart is understanding who's behind the company, who is behind the company that I'm supporting. What can I do to trust this company a little bit more? Sometimes showing the journey builds better credibility and better trust with the brand. Then, with that being said, let's go up to the top. And this is going to be a bunch of different campaigns that we do as well as sales. So if we go up here, you can kind of see some ideas for campaigns, right? So Zodiac idea, the industry news, success stories, YouTube content is a really, really great way to build value and then relink and kind of backlink. Brand values and mission, UGC, and emails from the founder are one of my top favorites. This is consistently one of the best performing campaigns revenue-wise for all of our clients. Now let's take a look at promotional ideas. So this is where I see a lot of brands really struggle because they consistently just push 20% deals or 30% deals, and they don't try to test different offers. This is going to change the game for you. So you have a free shipping flash sale. This is incredibly valuable, especially if you do ship worldwide, because so many people feel like they are being penalized for enjoying your product because they have to pay shipping. Free shipping is such an incredible offer to run. You'll be surprised by the retention on this. Then subscribe to SMS campaigns. Buy now, pay later is a huge one that you should be running. Test whether people have a pain point to this. Do they want your product, but maybe it's a higher purchase price? Do they want to commit to that right now? Maybe not. This is an incredible one to have in place. Then combos and bundles. This is self-explanatory, but this is a great way to increase your AOV and make sure that people can try multiple different products at a discount so that they were a little bit more incentivized to try those, and later on they will become repeat customers because they had a few multitude products. And if they didn't like one, they'll know what they did like. Then April Fool's Day, flash sale. This is always handy to have some kind of flash sale. Then giveaways work really, really well. Spend X, get X. This is incredible. Again, this is just a little bit of a deviation from just doing a site-wide sale. And this works really, really well for stacking products or really replenishable products. So a lot of drinks brands do this where they do a tiered sale, and it does incredibly well. For one of the drink brands we work with that I've done a case study on, this incredibly, this crushed out of the park. Then Amazon Prime Day, such a clever way to capitalize on the shopping buzz, of Amazon. And whether you're on Amazon or hosting your own flash sale, it doesn't matter. Then a standard flash sale, this is self-explanatory. Flash sales, in my opinion, perform really, really well because you don't want to give people the chance to reconsider their decision. You want to push on urgency. Flash sales do absolutely the best. Then a mystery discount. This one performs really, really well, where you force them to go to checkout and enter a code, and then only at the checkout will it be revealed. We did some split tests on this, and this performs incredibly well because they've made it all that way. If you have a preconceived idea of a deal and you don't really like it, you're never going to go to that final step. But this way, we can also ensure that they go through the cart and checkout abandonments. Then a happy hour flash sale, a clearance warehouse sale. This is incredibly good, especially if you have overstock of too many items that you want to get rid of, especially in the replenishables niche. A BOGO sale, self-explanatory. Then there are some other flash sales. So SMS flash sale only is really incredible to run with your audience. Build some FOMO if they're not in the SMS list. Make sure that they have another touch point. Choose your offer. Crossword, find your discount flash sale. This one works incredibly well for engagement, getting people involved with the email, and it creates that urgency as well. Buy now, pay later flash sale and a discount ladder flash sale. Now, here are some ideas that you can just pause the video and generate some prompts with ChatGPT. So how you can just generate new ideas with ChatGPT on exactly what sales to run, how to run them, etc., etc. pause this video, take note of these, take a screenshot, put it in ChatGPT, get it to translate it super quickly. But those are the different campaigns to actually send out, and the only ones you really need. There's a ton of different ideas you can just go and make a note of. Think about how it applies to your brand. And lastly, who to actually send to. I'm not going to go into detail about this. You can pause this because I've done a video on this recently, but go ahead and pause this. These are the different segments that you should be creating. These ones being the top ones that you should be focusing on, and these are additional, especially if you have subscriptions active. This is definitely needed. But for now, you pretty much only need these. Even so, you can remove this one and only really send to the Engage 120 if you just want a consistent, repetitive strategy. But don't neglect these other segments that need a different strategy as well. Again, I've done a different video on this. I will link it in the video. Now, with that being said, let's swap over and actually build a live campaign that is both visual and plain text, so you can see exactly how to do that. All right, so we're in that backend that I was talking about, and I showed you the case study of, and we're just going to do it over here. So if we go to the campaign section within your ESP, for me, I am using Klaviyo, and let's just name this as visual test. And we're just going to go over here. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to select our audience. We're going to select, let's just choose this random one. We want to save and return. Cool. And now what we're going to do is we want to add a message. And this one, we just want to do an email. Obviously, if you're doing SMS or anything, you'll go ahead and do that. Now, you can choose some categories. We've obviously done a ton of different emails already, but I actually just want to go ahead and create this from scratch so you can see the layout and how to build a visual email first and then move over to plain text. So we're just going to delete this as well. And so we're just kind of left with this fresh visual. Now, remember what I was saying earlier about the formula. So first, it is always the logo. So we're going to drop this in here. This is just a templated thing. So we're going to drop the logo over here. And so let's see if we have that saved. So we have the logo over here. And then we're going to have our visual campaign, or the visual of the main. So first we're going to have our logo, and then we're going to have our hero visual. But first we want a headline, and this is going to be your hook. So hook, just going to do that. And we want this to be a little bit bigger. So we're going to go and make this about 30, right? We want to centralize that. There's going to be your hook. Then you're going to have your main visual. And then of course, the way that we wouldn't do this is if this is a discount, we'll add a coupon, but most importantly, we're going to add a button. So we're just going to do that. So that's essentially formula for this. Then you're going to have your additional text, right? So this is going to be Epsom. This is just going to be some random text that you have over here. And this is going to be essentially the formula that you're going to have logo, hook, main visual, and then CTA, and then additional information. And here is where we'll put in the dynamic or the static. So let's do dynamic and let's do this, and it's going to populate 3 of them. So this is essentially just how you're going to build out your dynamic and visual campaign. Now, obviously what you can do is I've done another video where you can build this out on Canva or on Figma, and you can go and slice it and then just upload it. This is best practice, is to do it this way, where it's a drag and drop, it's kind of HTML. So this is a really good way to do it. And then of course you can add like a review section. You can do whatever you want, but this is essentially the formula for a really good campaign, a very solid campaign. So this is a way to build a visual one. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to change this, and we want it to do a plain text. So when you want to do a plain text, you're just going to open up the section where you choose your template. You're going to click here and you're going to do edit a plain text version, right? So what's going to happen here is we're just going to go straight into the email. All right, so and when you go to back to the section where you're going to choose your template, what we're going to do is we're going to go here, we're going to click on this 3 dots, and we're going to say switch to text only editor. So this is going to be your new, I guess, template, if you will. And this is how you're going to do a plain text email. It's going to be super, super simple. Our best practice is changing it to 18 size. We want to also change the font. So let's just choose Arial to be safe. And we want to add some personalization always. So here we can add some personalization. We want to click. So if you want to add personalization, just going to remove this. You can add, and you can just choose their first name. We're going to choose proper, and we're going to say friend as the default text. And that's pretty much it for a plain text email. So you're going to add all of your information. And what we like to do is, if I take a look at our new arrivals. And what we like to do is we do like to hyperlink this. So what we'll do is we will just add a link. So let's put .com. I'm going to add that. And we can take away the underline. We can keep the underline, whatever it is. And we're just going to brand this. So we're going to make it red and we're going to add that. Perfect. And so I personally do like an underline just because it is very clear that it's a hyperlink. But this is essentially how you're going to build out your plain text email. That's it. Simple formula. Make sure you have some personalization. Make sure you write a small paragraph. Don't use ChatGPT too much because it's going to be very indicative. That it is AI slop. So make sure to go and build it this way. And that's pretty much all there is to plain text and visual emails. Super simple formula for both of them. And to get this to work, make sure that you're not adding any logos, any images, nothing. You don't want it to be branded. If you want, you can make it a bit more personal, add like a GIF or something so it does look like it's sent from a person. But you always want to do something simple. You always want your intro in this section. And then most importantly, you want to sign off. And here is where you'll create your alias. Tim RB. And that's it. So that's all you want to do is you just want to add some personalization. You want to do something where it does not seem AI slop. It doesn't seem salesy. You just want to make it personal. So we always follow an intro that is personalized. Then we add our body copy. Then we'll do a hyperlink and then we'll do a sign off that is personal. And that's pretty much it. So that's essentially how exactly to build out campaigns. It's the only thing you need to know about building campaigns. Everything else is just noise. Go watch the other videos on how to actually visually build campaigns in Figma. But aside from that, you have everything that you need.